Putin, a Russian spy story. The last episode in a fabulous documentary. Fabulous in that it's so informative, brilliantly done. It offers you such a clear picture. Alas, the subject is terrible. You can't find a more loathsome monster than that. Well, come to think of it, there would be this guy who's now coming with strawberries to lucky I'm in black to spot to stain everything I have. We're discussing we've been discussing Putin at the sauna downtown even today, and that's about 2 hours ago, and then 3 hours, and then before that. And mentioning Dr. Mengele, we have a local Dr. Mengele. I'm the vicious, the vile fellow coming with this joke nickname. Joke in that the man hasn't killed anyone, so that's just mean and in quite a few ways inappropriate. But what do you call them? How do you label? How do you ostracize? How do you send to prison a fellow who is embracing Putin, the monster, who's spreading his propaganda through the sauna? And you can imagine at the hospital where he works. Is it the hospital? Yes, it is. So, and he's a man with influence. He's I understand, the leader of the union there, doctor, and so on. Hence the doctor. You are part of the expletive is correct. Doctor. Mengele is another story. And I mentioned him in previous episodes, notes, and he is a traitor if we judge him and those like him in the same way his friend does, Putin, because the discussion earlier was this. And yesterday too, I think I keep mentioning, because this is speaking of horror movies, books and thrillers and war books and art. Well, we have the war, and we have no greater horror than this, and no more horrible man than this. Well, okay, let's see what they do in Sudan. Maybe they kill more people, if that's the standard. But you see what I mean. And then again, as in The Economist, as they were saying, they encourage with this fellow is encouraging other tyrants, dictators, mass killers in other places, because as long as he is benefited from impunity, I was looking for something else. But anyway, let's move on. So he killed, we learned from the spy story, opponents, not just killed them, but made them suffer immense pain. I'm referring to Litvinenko, the one killed with polonium. Now he put through his goons, his henchmen, Novichok, military grade poison gas into the underwear of an idea of Alexei Navalny. And these days, Navalny, poor man, I mean, what an extraordinary role model. It's so good that Russia has people like that, so that we're reminded that the Russians, like any other people in population in the world, as long as you have enough people, you have vile, you have wonderful, you have the average. So Navalny is now facing a new accusation of terrorism, so that they put him behind bars for 35 years. He will not survive that, of course, because now I understand that they're keeping food away from him, so he's in bad shape. They will kill him. Okay? And Karamurza, besides the American journalist and other cases which are not so well known, Karamza, another leader of the opposition, sentenced to 25 years. So I'm telling you, through this many of these goons we have here at the pool and elsewhere, look, okay, so you embrace the fellow, Putin. Putin is good. His system and what he stands for. The war, and well, whatever else is bad in the war, it's the Americans. So fuck you and you. The family Hitler. He does this for no reason. That's the outrageous part. Okay, I understand if there's an eagle, a big cat comes here to get it. Well, just like that. Anyway, what was I saying? So these local traitors. I mean, you embrace the enemy because Putin is an established enemy for NATO. That's the policy here. I mean, NATO, we're in NATO. And so you're an opponent. Now, let's apply your wonderful Russian system. If you're an opponent, my dear, you have to go to jail for. Let's not make it 25. Let's say, okay, let's do everything the Russian good way. Let's give you 10. Right? Okay, that's fine. So that's and well, besides, I was with this fellow, you can't really. And I mentioned him in discussion with others because I want to have him in jail. I'm just not free to pour that vomit, that Russian propaganda through the city, really. But it would trying to make a joke in a way of it, but it's serious. I mean, it's really, how could you have that? How could you push this? I mean, instead of seeing it for what it is. This is a Kapkaun, Putin, and the others. I mean, that's how he stays there. He has people like this buying and then selling again this bullshit. And here, terrible, but a wonderful documentary with a despicable anti-hero, but there it is.